my friend, well done. Suffering.
No, it's like I think it's normal. No, this is.
Diego Lopes isn't mincing words as he prepares for Saturday's main event. The number 2 ranked featherweight contender delivered a crystal-clear warning to his opponent Jean Silva during Wednesday's media day. "I'm finishing this fight." This does not go to the distance.
Nah, I think I'm pressuring him. This guy's broke. I'm finishing him, knockout to submission. Maybe knocking him. Knock down him, go to finish. It's like him. Yeah, this is my prediction.
This bold prediction comes from a fighter who knows what it takes to compete at the highest level. Lopes, coming off a title fight loss to Alexander Volkanovski in April, faces the number 10 ranked Silva, who brings an impressive 13-fight winning streak into Saturday's bout.
Oh! Lord Silva sits him down. Kevin McDonald says, keep fighting. So he ends it with some huge ground and pound.
Since joining the UFC in January 2024, Silva has been nothing short of spectacular, finishing all 5 of his opponents without going the distance. But Lopes isn't intimidated by these numbers. "I think I'm pressuring him. This guy is broken. I'm finishing him. Knockout or submission. Maybe I will knock him down and finish him." This is my prediction.
Nah, I think I'm pressuring him. This guy's broke. I'm finishing him, knockout to submission. Maybe knocking him. Knock down him, go to finish. It's like him. Yeah, this is my prediction.
Despite losing his title shot to Alexander Volkanovski, Diego Lopes believes that experience has transformed him into a more dangerous fighter. The Brazilian-Mexican representative says facing the former champion has prepared him for anything the octagon can throw at him. "After this, nothing is new for me in the octagon. I faced the best guy in the world. After the Volk fight, I think nothing is new for me."
I faced the best guy in the world. After the Volk fight, I think not is new for me.
Lopes credits Volkanovski with teaching him valuable lessons during their 5-round war in April. Rather than dwelling on the loss, the 30-year-old fighter has used it as fuel for improvement. "I have a lot of confidence in myself now because I learned from watching the fight. I think Volk taught me a lot of things in this fight. I fixed many things after the fight too. Now I have more confidence in myself."
Oh, I have a lot of confidence in myself now. Because I learned to watch this fight. I think Volk teach me a lot of things in this fight. I'm fixing many things after this fight too. Now I have more confidence in myself.
The experience of going 25 minutes with one of the greatest featherweights of all time has given Lopes a new perspective on his abilities. It was only the second time in his 33-fight professional career that he went the full distance, and he believes this experience gives him a significant advantage over Silva, who has never fought past 3 rounds in his career. The mental game has become a crucial element in this Brazilian versus Brazilian showdown. Lopes claims he gained valuable insight into his opponent's mindset during a recent encounter at their Fight Week hotel. "I looked this guy in the eyes yesterday when we crossed paths in the hotel. This guy is a little bit scared. Yeah, he is."
Oh, my expectation is like I look scared in the eyes. This like yesterday I crossed him in the hotel. This guy is a little bit scared.
You think he's a little bit scared?
Yeah.
Lopes has also taken issue with Silva's behavior, calling his opponent's personality confusing and inconsistent. "This guy is a little bit strange. At the same time, he talks shit on the internet, but outside tries like he'll be nice. I don't understand this."
I don't know. I don't know. This guy is like he's a little bit strange, He's a little bit strange because same time he's talk shit in the internet, but outside tries like be nice, but I don't understand this.
The psychological warfare reached new heights when Silva attempted to create drama by claiming there was a near brawl between the 2 camps at their hotel. However, Lopes quickly debunked this story with video evidence showing a polite conversation about facial hair rather than any confrontation. Lopes dismissed Silva's claims with a simple statement: "That's the biggest lie I have heard today."
My friend, well done. Suffering.
No, it's like, I think it's normal, no?
This incident appears to have damaged Silva's credibility and given Lopes additional ammunition for their mental warfare. Saturday's main event carries significant implications for both fighters' careers. For Lopes, it's an opportunity to bounce back from his title fight loss and potentially position himself for another championship opportunity. For Silva, it's a chance to crack the top 5 and announce himself as a legitimate title contender. The MMA community is divided on this matchup. Several analysts, including the Bloody Elbow staff, are backing Silva to cause an upset, citing his perfect UFC record and finishing ability. However, others believe Lopes' experience against elite competition will be the difference maker. Lopes remains confident that his brawling style and championship-level experience will overwhelm Silva when they meet in the octagon. I'm different from his other opponents. I'm not scared. I think the difference is this. People are so scared to face Gane because of the power in his hands, but I'm not scared. I've proved myself against the best guys in the world.
This is the different than another guy. I'm not scared. No, I'm not scared. I think the difference is this. The people is so scared with the face Jon because this guy have a lot of power in the hands, but I'm not scared. It's like I prove myself with the best guys in the world.
The Mexican crowd in San Antonio is expected to strongly support Lopes, who has adopted Mexico as his fighting home and proudly represents the country despite being born in Brazil. With Alexander Volkanovski now holding the Featherweight championship, the division is looking for the next challenger. Names like Lerone Murphy and Movsar Evloev are mentioned as potential title contenders, but a spectacular performance on Saturday could thrust either Lopes or Silva into immediate title consideration. For Lopes, this represents a crucial moment in his career. Coming off a title fight loss, he needs to prove that his championship opportunity wasn't a fluke and that he belongs among the elite of the division. Silva, meanwhile, has the opportunity to make the biggest statement of his young UFC career by defeating a proven top contender in his first main event appearance. The stage is set for an explosive main event at Noche UFC 3 this Saturday in San Antonio. Will Diego Lopes back up his bold predictions and finish Jean Silva as promised? Or will the surging Brazilian spoil Lopes' comeback plans and announce himself as the next big thing in the featherweight division? One thing is certain, with two proud Brazilians looking to represent their fighting heritage on Mexican Independence Day weekend, fans are in for a spectacular show. We'll have complete coverage of all the action right here on UFC Update. Thank you for joining us, and we'll see you next time.
I'd love him to have a very highly paid boxing match.
UFC heavyweight champion Tom Aspinall and his father Andy have just dropped a career-changing message that has the entire MMA community talking. And it's not about his upcoming title defense. The newly crowned undisputed heavyweight king, who claimed his throne after Jon Jones' shocking retirement in June, has his sights set beyond the octagon, and it involves boxing gloves, massive paydays, and a direct challenge to the UFC's pay structure. This is a story about money, power, and a father's bold vision for his son's future. Let's break it all down. The bombshell came during a candid interview on Tom Aspinall's own YouTube channel, where his father and longtime coach Andy Aspinall didn't hold back about their plans. I'd love him to have a very highly paid boxing match for the money. The money's there, and I don't see why somebody as talented as Tom shouldn't have a piece of that money when the boxers are getting 100 times more. Andy Aspinall.
The money. I'd love him to have a very highly paid boxing match. For the money. You know, the money's there, and I don't see why somebody as talented as Tom shouldn't have a piece of that money when the boxers are getting 100 times more than 100 times more.
But here's where it gets even more explosive. Andy Aspinall took direct aim at the UFC's compensation structure, stating bluntly, the UFC ain't paying that type of money.
The UFC ain't paying that type of money.
This isn't just wishful thinking from a proud father. This is a calculated business statement from the man who's coached Tom since he was a child and helped guide him to the pinnacle of mixed martial arts. The timing couldn't be more significant. Tom Aspinall is set to make his first undisputed title defense against Gane at UFC 321 in Abu Dhabi on October 25th. But even with championship gold around his waist, his camp is already looking beyond the octagon for what they see as the real money.
All right, now, UFC 321, October 25th, Etihad Arena in Abu Dhabi. Tom Aspinall will face Cyril Gane. Aspinall has 15 wins, and all of them are by finish. Gane is the #1 ranked heavyweight. You can go to tickets go on sale this Friday.
Let's talk numbers, because that's what this is really about. Andy Aspinall didn't mince words when describing the financial disparity between boxing and MMA. According to Andy, boxers are earning more than 100 times more than UFC fighters. To put this in perspective, while top UFC champions might earn millions per fight, boxing's biggest stars regularly command $20 to $50 million purses, sometimes even more. Francis Ngannou proved this point when he left the UFC heavyweight championship behind to pursue boxing riches, reportedly earning around $10 million for his debut against Tyson Fury, potentially more than he made in his entire UFC career.
So what was the holdup with the UFC? Like, what led you to not sign?
There was a lot of frustration over the years. I think since my fight against Stipe, my first fight against Stipe, my relation with the UFC never been the same.
Really?
I felt like I wasn't in the right place. Then I get the Derek Lewis fight, who was like the worst fight, and that didn't hurt me at all.
You win the Cyril Gane fight. Then what happened?
I have no guarantee that signing this contract, I will not get into what I have been to in the past 3 years. So how about we change something that will make me feel secure?
And what did you want to change?
A lot of things.
But here's the kicker. Andy Aspinall revealed something shocking about his son's current earnings compared to other athletes. An American footballer. He's earning a tiny fraction of what they're earning, and he's one of the best in the world at doing what he does and not getting paid enough.
An American footballer who we've talked to when we're in America, he's earning a tiny fraction of what they're earning. And he's one of the best in the world at doing what he does and not getting paid enough.
This raises serious questions about fighter pay in the UFC, especially when we're talking about the heavyweight champion of the world potentially being out-earned by mid-tier American football players. This isn't just talk. The Aspinalls have a strategic plan mapped out. Andy outlined a clear timeline for his son's immediate future that could set up a massive boxing payday. October 2025, UFC 321 versus Cyril Gane in Abu Dhabi.
Tom Aspinall will face Cyril Gane. Aspinall has 15 wins, and all of them are by finish. Gane is the #1 ranked heavyweight. UFC 321, October 25th, Etihad Arena in Abu Dhabi.
Andy's ultimate goal, simple and direct. Get the money, get the glory, and get out, with Tom's health intact. The strategy is reminiscent of what we've seen with other MMA stars. Conor McGregor proved the crossover model works with his massive payday against Floyd Mayweather. Francis Ngannou followed suit by leaving the UFC to pursue boxing riches. But here's what makes Aspinall different. He's doing this as the reigning champion, not after losing or being stripped of his title. That gives him incredible leverage. So, who could Tom Aspinall potentially face in the boxing ring? The heavyweight division is currently dominated by unified champion Alexander Usyk, who holds all 4 major titles after his victories over Anthony Joshua and Tyson Fury.
Alexander Usyk putting on the performance of a lifetime. It's back on the legs. It's back on the legs. The champ is in real trouble here.
So much. No.
Usyk trying to send shockwaves throughout the heavyweight.
Not give one shot, or not take one shot, but he has to give.
Interestingly, Usyk has previously expressed interest in trying MMA, which could set up the ultimate 2-sport crossover. Aspinall boxing Usyk, then Usyk entering the octagon. Other potential opponents could include Tyson Fury, if he returns from retirement, Anthony Joshua, looking to rebuild, Deontay Wilder, always a knockout threat. The appeal for boxing promoters is obvious. Aspinall brings legitimate knockout power and an undefeated record as UFC champion. His highlight reel of 1-minute knockouts proves he has the finishing ability that boxing fans crave. This puts the UFC in a difficult position. They've just crowned a new heavyweight champion after Jon Jones' retirement, and now his team is already publicly discussing an exit strategy.
The problem for Tom Aspinall a lot of the time was not only finding trade. Oh! What a finish!
That's it!
Wow!
Knockout for Tom Aspinall in his debut! Got ourselves a prospect.
Beautiful. Knee to the midsection. Bang, bang. 1-2 follows right on the chin. He just did not stand a chance. As soon as that knee landed, bang, right into the midsection on 1-2. Very nice. And he measured the right hand early as well.
Dana White and the UFC brass have historically been resistant to allowing their biggest stars to pursue boxing while under contract. But the Aspinalls aren't asking for permission. They're making a statement about fair compensation. The broader implications are massive for the sport if the reigning heavyweight champion can't be adequately compensated by the world's premier MMA organization. What does that say about the entire fighter pay structure? This could be the catalyst for significant changes in how the UFC approaches compensation for its biggest stars, especially champions who have proven their drawing power. Tom Aspinall's father has thrown down the gauntlet, not just to potential boxing opponents, but to the UFC itself. The message is clear: pay your champions what they're worth, or risk losing them to boxing's lucrative landscape. With Aspinall set to defend his title in just 7 weeks against Gane, all eyes will be on Abu Dhabi. But the real question isn't just whether he'll win, it's whether this victory will be his last in the octagon before pursuing those boxing millions. Will the UFC step up with a mega deal to keep their heavyweight champion, or will we witness another exodus of top talent to the boxing world? One thing's for certain: Andy Aspinall's bombshell has changed the conversation around fighter pay and career strategy in combat sports forever. We'll continue following this developing story. For now, this has been your Combat Sports Update. Stay tuned for more breaking news.
But Tom's gigantic as well. He's big, he's light on his feet, he can move. I always say he's like a heavyweight Muhammad Ali, or mixed martial arts Muhammad Ali, or a heavyweight George St. Pierre. He can grapple, he can do it all. And we saw what happened against with Gane against Jon Jones. So more than likely, I mean, I heavily lean towards Tom Aspinall in this fight, but it's mixed martial arts. If Cyril can stop the takedowns, then this gets very interesting.
UFC legend Michael Bisping just dropped a bombshell comparison that has the entire MMA world talking. The former middleweight champion just called Tom Aspinall the Muhammad Ali of MMA. And if that wasn't enough of a warning shot to Gane, wait until you see what Aspinall just did to a heavy bag in training that has everyone terrified.
But he's the same height as me, if not an inch taller, but thick. Yeah. And I was like, fuck, you're a lot thicker than I would expect. Yeah. And the speed. Yeah. That's the thing that I'm like, okay, that's the danger. But again, grappling, he's a black belt. But John is fucking...
That's different.
Yeah. Yeah. But I don't know, man. They got to fight. But if they don't ever fight, we'll never know.
Jon Jones versus Tom Aspinall. No, Jon Jones is the GOAT in my book. You know, he's one of the best. And I recently saw Aspinall fight for the first time recently. And he's a great fighter. And he's a great champion. But I think it'll be tough for me to ever say that anybody will beat Jon Jones until it happens.
It's a very intriguing fight. If I had to put money on it, it'd be super hard for me to bet against a guy like Jones, just because I know the mindset that he comes in with. Not saying Aspinall couldn't get it done because of all those physical gifts that he had, but dog, betting against a guy like that, who, if he gets you on the ground, that's just a bad night.
Why Michael Bisping's stunning praise for Tom Aspinall might be the most accurate comparison in combat sports history, and why Gane should be very, very worried about UFC 321. Let's get straight to the explosive quote that has everyone talking. Michael Bisping, a man who grinded his way to the top of the middleweight division and knows what separates legends from pretenders, just made this incredible statement about Tom Aspinall. Here's exactly what Bisping told Bloody Elbow, and I quote, "Tom's gigantic as well. He's big and light on his feet. He can move. I always say he's like an MMA Muhammad Ali or a heavyweight Georges St. Pierre. He can grapple. He can do it all. I heavily lean towards Tom Aspinall in this fight."
But Tom's gigantic as well. He's big, he's light on his feet, he can move. I always say he's like a heavyweight Muhammad Ali, or mixed martial arts Muhammad Ali, or a heavyweight George St. Pierre. He can grapple, he can do it all. And we saw what happened against with Gane against Jon Jones. So more than likely, I mean, I heavily lean towards Tom Aspinall in this fight, but it's mixed martial arts. If Cyril can stop the takedowns, then this gets very interesting.
Now, when a UFC legend compares someone to Muhammad Ali, you listen. This isn't just about footwork. Ali revolutionized boxing by moving like a dancer while hitting like a truck. Aspinall is doing the exact same thing in MMA. We're talking about a 6' 5" heavyweight who moves like he's fighting at middleweight. The Ali comparison goes deeper than just movement, though. Both fighters possess that rare combination of physical gifts and mental sharpness. Ali could outthink opponents just as easily as he could outbox them. Aspinall shows similar fight IQ, reading opponents and striking at the perfect moment.
Watch this hand. He constantly distracts you with the lead hand. So he's keeping you busy with this before he starts to turn and starts to do these kicks. This comes first, is the front hand look. Watch how he just pulls it out before he does anything. And he does that every time he occupies the front hand and then works his attacks off it, which is high level fight IQ stuff from Jon Jones. But he's one of the smartest fighters ever.
Let's talk about why this comparison makes perfect sense. Tom Aspinall isn't just another heavyweight champion, he's rewriting the entire playbook. This Manchester native has finished 6 top 10 opponents in under a round each. Think about that for a second. 6 elite heavyweights, all finished in less than 5 minutes combined.
Tom Aspinall a lot of the time was not only finding trade. Oh! What a finish!
That's it!
Wow!
Knockout for Tom Aspinall in his debut! It's a prospect.
Beautiful. Knee to the midsection. Bang, bang. 1-2 follows right on the chin.
We're talking about dominant wins over Alexander Volkov, Curtis Blades, Andrei Arlovsky, and of course that stunning first-round knockout of Sergey Pavlovich that earned him the interim title. Then he avenged his only UFC loss against Blades with another 60-second knockout at UFC 304. The scary part? Aspinall moves like a middleweight trapped in a giant's body. He's got that rare combination of speed, power, and fight IQ that we haven't seen in the heavyweight division since, well, maybe ever.
Can't be reckless with Curtis. Oh, can't see the big reactions.
Yeah, that's
Curtis
a nice combination.
Curtis
by
can't but the right hand sinks it down. Aspinall. Blades nearly down and out early. That's it.
But if Bisping's Ali comparison wasn't enough of a warning to Cyril Gane, Tom Aspinall just shared a training video that has the entire MMA community absolutely shook. We're talking about a video where Aspinall hits a heavy bag so hard that he literally breaks it clean off its chains. This isn't just about power. Any heavyweight can hit hard. This is about the precision and technique behind that power. The fact that Aspinall can generate this kind of force while maintaining his legendary speed and movement, that's what nightmares are made of. Aspinall has also welcomed a new coach into his camp specifically to help break down the puzzle that Cyril Gane presents. The champion is taking this fight seriously, and rightfully so. Gane represents his toughest test to date.
You know, there's the guys who I've trained with from my experience who in the gym are absolute killers, absolute world beaters, and they'll get in a fight and they'll just freeze up and it doesn't work like it does in the gym. They fight way worse. And there's other guys like myself, anytime there's pressure on me, that's when I've done my most devastating performances. Oh, talk's just talk to me, right? It doesn't matter. Like at the end of the day, we're both going to take our shirts off, get a pair of gloves on and go in there and see who wins on October 25th. So it's not really going to change anything, to be honest.
Now let's give credit where it's due. Cyril Gane isn't just any challenger. This French striker has that elite footwork and striking finesse that earned him his own interim title back in 2021. He's got impressive victories over Derek Lewis, Tai Tuivasa, and Alexander Volkov. Here's what makes this fight so intriguing. Bisping himself admitted that out of all heavyweights, Gane is probably the most athletic and might be the only man who can match Tom in terms of movement. In fact, Bisping said Gane might even be more athletic and lighter on his feet than Aspinall. This will be Gane's third shot at UFC gold. He lost a decision to Francis Ngannou at UFC 270, then got submitted by Jon Jones in just over 2 minutes at UFC 285. The question is, can the third time be the charm against a champion who's looking absolutely unstoppable? UFC 321 in Abu Dhabi on October 25th isn't just another title fight. This is Tom Aspinall's chance to silence any remaining doubters and cement his place among the heavyweight greats. We're talking about the first defense of his undisputed title in the post-Jon Jones era. Michael Bisping made it clear he heavily leans towards Tom Aspinall in this fight. And honestly, after seeing that training footage and understanding the Ali comparison, it's hard to disagree. For Aspinall, it's about proving he's not just a transitional champion, but the start of a new heavyweight dynasty. For Gane, it's about finally capturing that elusive, undisputed title that slipped through his fingers twice before. So what do you think, fight fans? Is Michael Bisping spot on with that Muhammad Ali comparison? Can Cyril Gane solve the Aspinall puzzle that no one else has figured out? Drop your predictions in the comments below. If you enjoyed this breakdown, smash that like button, subscribe for more MMA news and analysis, and hit that notification bell so you never miss when we drop the latest fight breakdowns. UFC 321 is shaping up to be an absolute banger, and we'll be covering every angle as we get closer to fight night.
To this day, he gave Jon Jones some serious fucking trouble, and Jon destroyed his legs. He needed double knee surgery after that fight.
What was going through your mind when you did that jumping side kick? Looked like you were aiming for Thiago Santos' knee.
Thiago was trying to break my jaw tonight. He was trying to give me brain damage tonight. And if a guy can give you a stutter for the rest of your life or memory loss, I think an even trade-off is to give him a lump for the rest of his life. That's just the game we play.
This is one of the greatest quotes ever when he was in a press conference with Daniel Cormier after their first fight. He goes,
I beat you after a weekend of game. And two back-to-back weekends. Game one, your ass the next. It was great.
Joe Rogan's shocking revelations about Jon Jones have sent shockwaves through the MMA community. We're talking career-ending damage, bitter rivalries, and why Daniel Cormier just fired back with some brutal honesty about the so-called GOAT. This is a story that proves Jon Jones doesn't just beat opponents. He literally changes the trajectory of their entire careers. Stay tuned, because what you're about to hear will change how you view some of the biggest names in MMA forever.
Thiago Santos, he ruined both his knees. John did. Yeah, both his knees after that fight, he had to get surgery on. He tore both of them apart. He sidekicked the fuck out of his knees.
Yeah.
He does the oblique kick to the thigh, too. He does it everywhere.
So
let's start with the bombshell that has everyone talking. On a recent episode of the Joe Rogan Experience, the UFC's most trusted voice dropped some absolutely devastating information about what Jon Jones did to former title challenger Thiago Santos.
Yeah, when I heard his name first, I was like, oh my goodness. So, I mean, this is not happening. He definitely did really good, but one thing about me, as the fight progresses, I tend to figure out what's happening, get my game going. Thiago is a Muay Thai black belt, and I'm only 10 years into kickboxing. I think he's probably closer to 20 years into kickboxing. So, I just figured I'd challenge myself. I could have probably taken the fight to the ground. That probably would have been a smarter idea, but, I know he will be back for a rematch, and I'll be ready.
Now, most of you remember that fight from July 6, 2019. It was closer than anyone expected. Santos actually gave Jones some real trouble, and many thought he might have even won that fight. But here's what Joe Rogan revealed that will blow your mind. He gave Jon Jones some serious trouble, and Jon destroyed his legs. He needed double knee surgery after that fight. Both of his knees were destroyed. That side kick to the knees. Jon is so good at that.
To this day, he gave Jon Jones some serious trouble. And Jon destroyed his legs. He needed double knee surgery after that fight. Jon just destroyed his knees. That side kick to the knees.
One of his knees, they messed up. He tried to kick John, and John slid back and made a mess, and he hyperextended his leg.
Both knees in one fight. And really was never the same again.
Think about that for a second. Double knee surgery. Both knees are destroyed. This wasn't just a loss. This was career-altering damage that Santos is still dealing with today. And the proof is in the numbers, folks. Since that Jon Jones fight in 2019, Thiago Santos, who was once considered one of the most dangerous knockout artists in the division, has won just one fight. One. That's over 5 years of struggling to get back to where he was before stepping into the octagon with Bones.
I've never met a person that actually remembers more than Rogan. We go to dinner after the fights.
Yeah.
And he'll be talking about events at UFC 15, and I'm like, UFC 15? Was that in 2004?
This is the Jon Jones effect. He doesn't just beat you, he fundamentally changes who you are as a fighter.
I want to take this time to thank Daniel Cormier for being my biggest rival and motivator. Daniel Cormier, guys, he has absolutely no reason to hang his head. He has been a model champion, a model husband, a model father, a teammate, leader, and I aspire to be a lot more like that man because he's an amazing human being. Unfortunately, we were opponents, but outside of that, he is a true champion for the rest of his life.
Oh, I love it and I hate it at the same time.
But that's not even the biggest story here. Daniel Cormier, Jon Jones' greatest rival, just went on Shannon Sharp's club Shay Shay and dropped his own bombshell that has the MMA world completely divided. Despite losing to Jones twice, despite their bitter personal history, Cormier made a statement that nobody saw coming. When asked about Jon Jones being the greatest of all time, here's what DC said. I don't believe he should be considered the greatest of all time. Steroids in fighting is much different than anything else in the world. You just can't have that tied to your name, especially in fighting, and people call you the greatest of all time.
A steroid is tied to his name.
Yep.
He can't be in the GOAT conversation.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that he should be considered the greatest of all time. I've said that. You can't, Shannon, steroids.
Yes.
In fighting is much different than anything else in the world.
They make you stronger. They make you faster. They give you endurance.
Recovery ability when you train.
That's what
Now that's brutal honesty right there. Cormier isn't denying Jones's talent. He even called him the greatest talent the sport has ever seen. But he's drawing a hard line when it comes to the GOAT conversation. And you know what? Jon Jones couldn't let that slide. He fired back on social media. But here's where it gets really interesting. Cormier isn't backing down. He's actually supporting Jones for the potential White House fight card, saying, if y'all want an American dude to go get a victory, put Jon Jones in there because he's going to win. That's what he does.
Secret, the whole world knows it.
You're right.
I say, man, y'all better put Jon Jones on there. Because right now we ain't got one American in the top 10 pound for pound. I said, if y'all want an American dude to go get a victory, put Jon Jones in there. Because he gonna win. That's what he does.
Think about that. Your biggest rival, the guy who lost to you twice, is still advocating for you because he knows you're just that good. That's the ultimate respect right there. This brings us to the heart of the matter, Jon Jones's complicated legacy. On one hand, you have cases like Thiago Santos, where Jones's fighting style literally ended a man's prime years. The oblique kicks, the wrestling, the ground control. Jones doesn't just win fights, he takes years off careers.
Jon Jones is the pound-for-pound best fighter in the world and the greatest fighter fucking ever. Period. End of story. This fucking guy destroyed the best heavyweight in the division. Easily made it look like nothing.
Hello, Jon. I have nothing against you personally, but I just think I'm better than you. I just know that I can beat you in a fight. So I'm coming for it.
But then you have the elephant in the room, the failed drug tests that Cormier mentioned, multiple incidents, overturned victories, and a cloud that follows Jones everywhere he goes. Yet even his biggest hater, and let's be real, Daniel Cormier earned that title, admits that Jones is probably going to win any fight you put him in. That's the paradox of Jon Jones. He's simultaneously the most talented and most controversial figure in MMA history. The recent back and forth between Jones and Cormier proves this rivalry is far from over. Jones posted on Instagram saying he didn't just live in Cormier's head rent-free, he built a mansion there. And honestly, looking at how much Cormier talks about Jones, he might have a point. But here's the real question for you fight fans. Does talent alone make you the GOAT, or do the controversies permanently taint that conversation? Looking ahead, all eyes are on this potential White House fight card for 2026. Dana White said the odds of Jones being on it are 1,000,000,000 to 1, but Jones isn't giving up. He's back in the USADA testing pool, he's training hard, and he's optimistic about his chances. The irony? His biggest rival, Daniel Cormier, is actually pushing for Jones to be on that card because, in his words, Jones is going to win, and America needs that victory. Think about what that says about Jon Jones's aura. Even the guy who hates him most knows that putting Jones in there is basically a guaranteed American victory. That's the level of dominance we're talking about. Meanwhile, fighters like Thiago Santos are still dealing with the physical consequences of stepping into the octagon with this man. It's a reminder that in MMA, some fighters don't just beat you, they change your life forever. So there you have it. Fight fans, the Jon Jones effect in all its brutal glory. Whether you love him or hate him, whether you think he's the GOAT or not, one thing is undeniable. This man changes careers, breaks bodies, and lives rent-free in the minds of everyone who's ever stepped into the octagon with him. What do you think? Is Jones the undisputed GOAT despite the controversies? Or does Daniel Cormier have a point about the steroid allegations? Let me know in the comments below. I read every single one. If this breakdown opened your eyes to something new about the Jon Jones legacy, smash that like button and subscribe for more explosive MMA content. We've got more breaking news coming your way, including updates on that White House fight card and what's next for these legendary fighters. Until next time, keep training hard. And remember, in MMA, legends aren't just made by what they accomplish, but by how they change everyone around them.
I don't believe that he should be considered the greatest of all time. Steroids.
Yes.
In fighting is much different than anything else in the world.
They make you stronger. They make you faster. They give you endurance.
Recovery ability when you train.
That's mainly what steroids do.
Yeah, people
it allows you to go to there and go hard tomorrow, and go hard the day after, and go hard the day after, and go hard the day after. That's when you grow. That's when you become better.
Yep.
Because it gets to a point where you're like, damn, I can't give you everything today.
Yes.
But you can go back to back to back.
And that was me at 36, right? Even though I was the best I could ever be, I'm working as hard as I could ever work in my life, knowing that I have to be ready. At 36, he's 28, right?
So he's in his prime.
He's in his prime, but that's the fight that he actually tested positive, and they made it a no contest. This is why I can't stand this dude.